What's up guys, my name is Sam, welcome back to another video and to here for another episode of my F1 2021 career mode with Haas. Today is time for the second half of the season, the start of it, episode 11. Today is time for the Dutch Grand Prix. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and leave a like, it really motivates me to make more. A lot of career mode videos are coming to this channel as always, and before jumping onto the track we have some work to do. You can see that we're going to fit a slightly older power unit because the next episode is going to be the Italian Grand Prix where straight line speed means absolutely everything, and I want to make sure that we have a good power unit to put a use at the Temple of Speed. Buying some upgrades, one for the aero and then another one for the chassis, and they should be ready before the start of the Russian Grand Prix. So we have to wait a bit there, and you can see two upgrades ready for this weekend. One is going to be for the aero, which is going to really come in handy because this track requires a lot of the aero, a lot of fast corners, so definitely that is going to come in handy. And you can see all the upgrades ready, a good package which is going to be very welcome, let's say like that, for this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix. You can see this is going to be our first race with the performance patch, so we are really close to Williams, but you can see that we have a retirement announcement, and it's going to be Fernando Alonso that will leave Formula 1 at the end of this season. So the guy came to race this year and he's already out. He just did one season in his comeback, so that is quite funny to see. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, maybe the final departure, you know, this time is forever for Fernando Alonso in Formula 1. So a short journey, he only lasted one season with Alpine. Yeah, that was quite weird to see, to say the least. But anyway, here we are on practice. Things are going smoothly for us. Like I was saying, this is going to be our first career mode race after the performance patch that came together with the Portimao circuit. So things are not going to be easy for us, are going to be much harder from now on, because the Haas car, its performance got decreased, so scoring points is going to be even more harder. This car is nowhere near the points paying position, despite already scored some of them, especially a 5th place finish at that crazy race at the streets of Baku. But practice is done, pace as shows to be promising, so you know, I'm kind of confident heading into this qualifying session. And let's see if he can put a good show. It's going to be now even harder to get out of Q1 because of the performance patch, like I said, but fingers crossed. Let's see what we can do. Weather-wise, it's going to be full drive for the entire weekend, and so no rain to help us out with any gambles or something like that. But anyway, we're going to press on, see what we can do, and here we are. This is our first lap, braking very hard into Tarzan. You have to carry so much momentum heading into that first corner. You really have to slam on the brakes and keep a tight line in that corner in order to be as fast as possible. I'm really strong at that corner and in the first sector as well as we go into the chicane. You're not going to see in this cutscene as we open the DRS, but now through the final corner, going a little bit wide as now we go through the awesome right-hand banking, open the DRS, and we're going to cross the line. It's going to be a 1:11.7 for the time being, put us ahead of Nicolas Latifi and Mick Schumacher. We return to the garage, we are in P18, but you're going to see in a second that we're going to drop into P19 because Mick Schumacher gets up into P15. Great effort from our teammate, and at the moment he's 5 tenths faster than us, and Lance Stroll is in the danger zone. So another thing, the Aston Martin performance got decreased thanks to this performance patch, so much that Stroll now is struggling to get out of Q1, and this is going to be our final lap of the session. We'll see if we can at least beat our teammate, putting the bar really high as we go through the fantastic left-hander. I always like to take the inside line there. I think I always manage to carry better speed. And now we're heading through the swooping right-hander, super long corner but fast corner at the same time, gaining 1/10 of a second. We lost a bit of time there, so that is not ideal as we hit massively that curve, and thankfully the car didn't get unsettled, missing a bit the apex through that corner, and unfortunately it's over. But thankfully we still have 1 minute to go, so we have another chance, but that was a bit unfortunate. That part of the lap on the second sector is always a bit, you know, I always feel so much understeer with a car. No matter car I'm driving, I can be driving a Mercedes, I still feel understeer on that corner. I don't know if I'm the only one, but you know, we'll see what he can do. So let's see what he can do in this attempt. Already skipping a bit forward onto the second one, and now let's see if he can gain some time. Now you can see keeping a bit side the line there, going a bit wide, and that makes us lose time. We're still in P19, and now here we need to be really careful. This time we're going to hit the apex, which is going to you know, be a huge plus, obviously. So good commentary there, Tom. Here we hit the apex as well. Make sure to push the throttle as early as you can. It's really easy to lose the back end there. Open the DRS, and now here you have to have a lot of commitment into this chicane, hitting the curb massively. We got a bit of understeer, but you got that beautiful switch back against our previous lap, and we gained 2/10 of a second in the space of a chicane, so that is great, but it's not enough, I think, to beat our teammate. Through the banking we go. It is going to be not even a 3/10 of improvement, it's going to be almost that across the line. And unfortunately, I think we didn't beat our teammate because he was 5/10 faster than us after the first lap. So unfortunately, we are out of qualifying. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. We've been out-qualified by our teammate, unfortunately, by 3/10 of a second. Kimi Räikkönen gets through, and we're just ahead of Nicholas Latifi. So once again, qualifying not be our strongest point. Yeah, he's super strong in every single qualifying session. But you know, our car is the slowest of the grid, and I still managed to beat one of the Williams cars. So I don't know if this is a positive qualifying or not. So yeah, we'll see what again in the race. Generally, my race pace is better than the qualifying pace. Without further ado, let's go to Sunday for the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside at races across Europe and throughout the world. Now, at long last, they have a Grand Prix to call their own. It's a warm welcome once again to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. 4 lefts and 10 rights make up the 14 corners of the narrow and demanding Zandvoort circuit, with plenty of peaks and valleys over the course of a 2.6-mile lap, which will demand absolute concentration from our drivers here today. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Lando Norris. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Sebastian Vettel and Stroll, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, George Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi, Thomas and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
And here we are on the track, guys. We're going to start in P19 after a disappointing qualifying, but you know, it's the car that we have. It is what it is. But anyway, we'll see what he can do. Welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix. We'll see if we can put a good show with the Orange Army watching us. Strategy-wise, it's going to be a soft-hard strategy. But I think I can do the soft-medium strategy. I don't know. We're going to be the only ones on the guys outside of the top 10, with the exception of Fernando Alonso, that we're going to start on the softest comparative tire, so we can capitalize a lot of positions in the first laps of the Grand Prix. It will depend on the tire wear, so fingers crossed that everything is going well for us. A lot of hard tires around us. 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix with Max Verstappen starting in pole position, and it's lights out and away we go at Zandvoort. Great start, already overtaking the Williams of George Russell, and Schumacher gets a great start. I think it's a free abreast almost between Schumacher and Raikkonen. Running outside we go off the fin. For the time being, we're going side by side with our teammate, and Raikkonen is going side by side with Lance Stroll. I'm trying to take a look because we know that we have the massive grip against the hardest comparative tire, so we need to capitalize a lot in these first few laps. But Schumacher gets a good run, and here we go side by side with our teammate. Fine margins, but at the end of the day, we are ahead of Schumacher. Someone going off to the grass, and we have some yellow flags as I'm trying to go on the inside of Kimi Räikkönen. Oh, there's a massive crash into the swooping right-hander, and I think someone is out of the race, and we have a virtual safety car, which is now converted to a safety car, and I think one of the Williams is out. Is not this one. George Russell is still in this race, so this means that Nicholas Latifi is out of the race, but that was a massive crash. That's Antonio Giovinazzi without the front wing, and we'll see what happened. We saw a yellow flag, someone going wide, and oh, that is Antonio Giovinazzi, went on the grass. And yeah, everyone is close on lap 1, and it was a chain reaction. Oh, that is a huge smash from Nicholas Latifi, and George Russell was really lucky to still be in this race, to not have terminal damage. Giovinazzi, yeah, went on the grass. That is really weird. He didn't make contact with anyone, just pure understeer. I don't know, maybe he had a puncture, I don't know, but it's a huge shunt. And like I said, George Russell was really lucky to not be out of this race. It could have been an instant double retirement for Williams as we're watching Latifi's POV, and yeah, that is a huge smash, and that is the Canadians race coming to an early end. Giovinazzi was really lucky to still be in this race, and you can see that Russell, as a time penalty, he's taking in the pits, so that doesn't make any sense because he did nothing wrong. Everyone is close together to each other on lap 1. But yeah, we are up into P16, gaining some positions. You can see the beautiful brand new Aston Martin car for the first time in this career mode series. You love to see it. Lewis Hamilton leads the way, so we overtook his rival Max Verstappen. Not really in this career mode series because Verstappen is not really in the title fight. But anyway, Hamilton leads, followed by Verstappen, Perez, and then Valtteri Bottas, which is our current championship leader. I know, the beauty of the F1 games. But for us, we are up into P16. I think we still can make some positions. We can overtake Raikkonen. Stroll is on the hards as well. Everyone outside of the top 10 almost is on the hards. So we can do a lot of overtaking in these first laps of the Grand Prix as we're getting ready for the restart of this Grand Prix. And here we go once again. And Zandvoort side by side with Raikkonen. Good start. And the Finn dive bombs, not just Stroll as we're going up the inside of the Aston Martin, but as well Esteban Ocon. I'm trying to overtake Ocon as well. For the time being, we just overtook the Canadian, but these guys are still going at it. So let's see. I'm going to try to take a wider line. You can see overtaking Ronnie outside Kimi Raikkonen, now trying to overtake Esteban Ocon. Where do we have distraction? I know that we are in the south, but we are in a hustle. This is kind of peculiar to see. And for the time being, we're stick behind Ocon, but that was a great attempt. You can see the difference between the softs and the mediums is abysmal. So I imagine how it is the difference between the softs and the hard comparative tire, which at the moment Sebastian Vettel, that is on our side, is on the white stripe tire. But first we need to clear Ocon. I don't know if we have the pace to clear the Alpine, is what we're going to see. DRS at the moment is not enabled, but it will be in a few laps time. But what a start that we're having. I don't know where we're carrying this pace. I know that we have the tire advantage, but bear in mind that we are on a Haas, the slowest car on the grid. So I think we're doing a decent job nonetheless, no matter the tire that we are. As now Ocon going really slow through the banking, running outside we go as Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap. He leads the way, and we are up into P13. So my number, so this can mean, you know, some luck. I don't know. Ocon trying to take the inside line and try to regain the position, but no use. And we are up into P13. So we're doing wonders at the moment. And now I think maybe we have the pace to overtake Sebastian Vettel as the DRS gets enabled on the lap 6th. And I think we have the pace to overtake Vettel. He's dropping a lot too. Alonso, that is on the softest comparative tire, is the first one of the guys outside of the top 10 that is on the red stripe tire. And this is kind of weird to see, you know. I'm chasing down my favorite F1 driver, my man Sebastian Vettel, on an Aston Martin while I'm driving in a Haas. So that is quite peculiar to see. But now we're going to have the TRS available to us as we're gaining and gaining on Sebastian Vettel. Here comes Tom this time. Down inside we go into 1000. You can see trying to giving a little bit of a squeeze. He lost a bit the back end, and that will allow Vettel to come back as we're still going at it. This is brilliant stuff between myself and my man. Now trying to hold the run inside. Who's going to have the better traction? You can see losing the back end left, right and center as I'm exploiting the full potential of this Haas. So close to his gearbox. I think we kind of touched his gearbox just slightly, and yeah, Vettel doing everything on his power to keep this position, and for the time being he's doing that. So experience, my friends. We have a veteran ahead of us, and we are a rookie, so we need to wait another lap. You're going to join me for the rest of this lap. As you can see, twitching the wheel. We need to be really careful as well how we nurse these tires, because I'm thinking about fitting the mediums on our one and only stop of this race. I think there's no point to fit the hards. If we nurse these tires decently, I think we can do the one-stop soft medium strategy, but we really need to be careful how we treat our tires, and that's the reason that I really want to overtake Vettel, because at the moment I'm damaging my tires because of the dirt here, and I think this time we are much closer to the Aston Martin, so this should be an easy overtake as we're gaining and gaining. Vettel sitting to the left, to the right hand side of the track, so this means that he's going defensive, outbraking massively as we go into 1000, and this time finally we get ahead of the German and we are up into P12. We are in P12 in the Haas. where this pace is coming from. I know that we are on the softs, but still, I think that is pretty impressive what we're doing in this race. This is the first stopper of the race. This is Carlos Sainz feeding the medium, so I think this is the best strategy, and Sainz is with the same thoughts as I am having. The soft medium strategy is better than the soft hard strategy, so Sainz is going to come out. This is really important because Sainz is inside the top 5, and I think he's challenging Bottas, and he's going side by side with Raikkonen, so this is not ideal. And at the end of the day, Raikkonen gets ahead of the Ferrari, so Ferrari kind of bottled the strategy, you know, realistic, how convenient, as Hamilton pulls into the pits and is fitting the hards. So we have a lot of different strategies when it comes to the one stop. Verstappen is fitting the hards as well, so this is about to get interesting. One of the McLarens, this is Daniel Ricciardo fitting the hards as well, so we have a lot of different strategies inside the one stop strategy. We can say Alonso is fitting the hards as well, and he started on the softs. You can see Bottas is doing the same. This is in the next lap. Perez getting a little bit held up, and I think he got overtaken by Bottas. That is really unfortunate for Perez. It was running on the podium, but let's see what is going to work. The undercut, the overcut. This is Max Verstappen still in second place, and yeah, he's comfortably ahead of Valtteri Bottas, but Perez is outside of the top 3, and he might be outside of the top 4 because he gets overtaken by Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, I think he's doing better than Carlos Sainz, I think. So it was my mistake. I thought that Sainz was inside of the top 5. No, it is Leclerc that is inside of the top 5. And the undercut has worked, and he's up into P4. So good from Leclerc. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job with Ferrari in this race. We are up into P7 thanks to these stoppers. And now skipping a bit on to lap 16. This is Daniel Ricciardo on the tail of Sebastian Vettel. We went a bit wide as these guys are going side by side. We're going to pit on this lap, by the way, so this is perfect timing. We don't want to lose time with Ricciardo. Ricciardo goes up the inside of Vettel, and Vettel gets demoted one position, but you can see Vettel is a sitting duck. He's forming a huge train. I'm ahead of this guy, so I'm forming the train, so yeah, I think it is a bit embarrassing for me, but I'm on all the soft tires, and we're going to pull into the pits, and Vettel on the hards pulls on lap 17, so I'm really confused right now. Anyway, we're going to fit the medium tires, so we did the same laps on softs that we did on hards, I don't know, and oh, that's the reason! Vettel has changed his front wing, so Vettel maybe has damage from going side by side with Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel is going to lose a lot of time. He's on the soft comparative tires, but there's no way that Vettel is going to carry those tires till the end of the race, so he's going to be forced to do the, you know, the two-stop. If I was Vettel, I would have fit the medium, so that doesn't make any sense at all. And Aston Martin absolutely bottled it with Sebastian Vettel. This man cannot have a break. Unbelievable, unbelievable. For us, we're in P14, we're doing brilliantly. This is Lance Stroll and Kimi Raikkonen ahead of us, but these guys are still have to stop in this race. So we're going to be back into P12 very soon, as now Stroll going really slow through the banking, but he's pulling into the pit, so that doesn't matter. And Raikkonen, I think I'm assuming maybe in the next lap is going to be ahead of us. Ahead of Raikkonen is Alonso, 10 seconds up the road. So the best that we can have in this race is P12 in normal conditions. We would need a safety car to have a chance to score points in this race, but you know, we're outside of the points, but I don't care. We're doing an absolute fantastic job with this Haas, and just imagine how it's going to be once we have a lot of upgrades in the next season. Things are looking promising for us. Schumacher needs to catch up a little bit. At the moment we are, you know, outpacing in the race as Raikkonen pulls into the pits. Qualifying, Schumacher is the best thing in the world, but in the race is quite the contrary. Yuki Tsunoda is closing down the top 10, and these 15 seconds up the road, these guys don't need to stop as well. But this is bad news if you're a Williams fan in this race, because 2 Williams retirements. This is George Russell pulling to the side of the track at the entry of Tarzan. Is out of the Dutch Grand Prix. So a double retirement for Williams. It's a weekend to forget for this team, with Latifi out on the first lap. And now George Russell coming to a halt. And I think Verstappen... This is Verstappen! Verstappen is going slow! Verstappen is out of the Dutch Grand Prix! His home race, he wasn't leading, but he was in a good, solid second place in front of his home crowd. And Verstappen is out. You can see... Oh, look at the smoke that Valtteri Bottas... I don't know why Bottas is not going to the right hand side of the track, but, you know, I don't know, maybe Bottas smoking some weed because... Because we are on Netherlands, get it? I'm sorry. Anyway, we have a safety car with 7 laps to go, so we're going to be close. We are up into P11, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Verstappen. this is an absolute turnaround. We can score points in this race. I'm already losing my voice. I'm a bit rusty in my commentary, so apologies for that. But now we're getting to the restart of this race. We can score points. Sainz was on a 2-stop, I think. He's on the softest comparative tire. But I think we have the pace to win this race. We just need to be aggressive on the first lap. If there is a chance, I'm gonna take it. As this Grand Prix is going to get away once again. Side by side we go with Sainz. As we go into the first corner, who's going to be the bravest? Down inside we go! Oh, Fernando Alonso, I'm trying to go run inside of Carlos Sainz, squeezing Alonso aggressively, and we're up into P10, ladies and gentlemen. We're scoring points for the time being, but Ocon out of nowhere, and we lose a bit of our front wing because we ran into the back of Carlos Sainz, and Ocon is overtaking us. We're down into P11. I'm trying to do everything on my power to regain these points, but we have front wing damage, and I think that's over as I run massively wide and Alonso goes wide, as now we have some yellow flags. Oh, that is a massive crash! Alonso and I think Schumacher are out of the Dutch Grand Prix. Yes, confirmation. Massive crash between the Alpine and that teammate in the Haas. This is an absolute calamity. And look at us. Our race is over. We were so close to score points in this race, but now we're limping to the checkered flag. I think Raikkonen is part of that incident as well. He lost his front wing. But look at this. We're being swallowed left, right and center, free abreast. As we went into the chicane with Vettel and Giovinazzi, we were down into P14, but this is what happened. I ran wide, Alonso tried to go run outside, and we were joined very aggressively. That is super dangerous from Alonso, and that is a huge and a massive crash. That was horrendous. And you can see, I have to lift my hand, maybe that I push Alonso off to the track. It wasn't my intention, but then Alonso swerved aggressively to the right hand side of the track. I don't know why. And that is a massive crash. If that was real life, there would be silence on the paddock. But anyway, this is Raikkonen, and I don't know how Raikkonen is still in this race. I just want to clarify that I'm running with this simulation damage on. I don't know how Raikkonen is still in this race, but yeah, there you have it. Schumacher is out. He wouldn't score points anyway, unless a miracle, you know, happened in the final laps of the race. But you can see, oh, that is horrendous. That is a massive crash, probably the biggest one so far in this season. But for us, yeah, it's a shame. It is my fault that I did that contact. I was too focused on Ocon, and you know, in a second I was going side by side, focus on him, and in the other I was running into the back of Carlos Sainz. Completely my fault. I am stupid. I had the chance to take points and absolutely blew it. So yeah, it is my fault. Lewis Hamilton leads the Grand Prix and wins the Grand Prix, followed by Bottas. So another Mercedes 1-2. Verstappen made things easy for the Silver Hours today. And then Charles Leclerc, massive congratulations for that podium with Ferrari. But for us, it's P14, but I know that it could have been points. Yeah, terrible job for me, terrible.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
What a great race then, and what a magnificent victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
We have these days that we're doing a great job, but out of nowhere everything gets vanished away. So many George Russell 2020 vibes, am I right, you know? He was on the points and he blew on the safety car when he was at the Imola. And then it was what we know at Sakir. So it was a George Russell day, let's say like that. I'm sorry for being too harsh. You know, we had a chance to score points. And we did an amazing strategy, aggressive strategy, soft to mediums, a one-stop. But yeah, that safety car really helped us out, but we didn't take the advantage of that. P14, 0 points, but it could have been, I would say that we could have scored points, maximum P10, and we would have to, you know, keep Ocon behind for the rest of this race. But, you know, let's forget this race, let's learn with our mistakes, and let's focus in the next one, which is going to be the Temple of Speed, Monza. But, yeah, I feel gutted, and then that massive crash 50% my fault because I kinda pushed Alonso. It wasn't my intention, but maybe I should have been more careful because I knew that I had front wing damage. And then Alonso, you know, rejoined really dangerously. Anyway, Bottas leads by 13 points against Lewis Hamilton, Norris, and then Perez ahead of his teammate, which is kinda weird to see. Charles Leclerc gets up into P6 after that fantastic podium, overtakes Daniel Ricciardo. The rest stays the same. Lance Stroll still with 15 points, so we have a chance to challenge the Canadian. We could have got closer today, but yeah. I'm talking too much about this. I need to forget this and let's hope for better things at Monza. Let's take a look now at the constructor standings, and it is Mercedes leading the way and McLaren overtakes Red Bull. So they are actually level on points, but McLaren is ahead because they have 2 race wins to their name thanks to Lando Norris at Canada and Belgium. That is quite fantastic to see so far in this season, McLaren winning 2 races. And for us, Haas, we're leading the back markers with 13 points against the 2 from Alfa Romeo, and Williams is the only team yet to score points. But guys, that has been episode 11 of my F1 2021 career mode with Haas. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to smash the like button. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. It really motivates me to make more. Make sure to join the family. You're going to have an absolutely banger of time. Weekly F1 content, weekly career mode. Make sure to not miss that. And I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. Next race, the Temple of Speed at Monza. Don't forget. And I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, take care.